guys, happy Thursday. Let's go ahead. I want to give you guys a run through really quickly of the Grateful Heart card making workshop. And I want to give you guys a quick look at the files and just a quick look at the cards before we move into assembly video number 1. Now, we did this with the boutique card making workshop where I went back and I recreated each of the cards, and that was a big hit. You guys seem to really enjoy that. So what I thought might be fun this time is that since especially this workshop has a little bit it's not my standard, you know, layers of cardstock and that kind of thing. This has some kind of intricate techniques using the iris paper piecing. It's a very fun technique, and it's really quite simplistic once you get the hang of it, but it is a little bit difficult. If I were to just throw you the files, you guys might have a little bit of trouble putting them together. So what I thought would be fun is to do a little bit of going through each of the cards and do a full assembly video on every single one of them. So these videos are probably going to be fairly long. That's okay. You don't have to watch them if you don't need to watch them, but if they can be helpful to you when you guys get the workshop, I want to provide that for you. So when you guys, to get the cutting files and the complete file selection to be able to create this workshop, you guys, you can get them one of 3 ways. You can make a purchase on my shopping website, susanwilliams.ctmh.com, of $25, and you'll be able to receive the files for free. For every $25 you spend, you guys are going to get a set of files. So if you spend $50, so you can get the stamp of the month kit, which is free from me, then you can actually get the stamp of the month cutting guide and 2 other files for your $50 purchase. So you're kind of like, it really escalates quickly as far as all of the free things that you can earn when you shop with me. So that's kind of exciting, especially me being a super frugal girl. So you can get them free with a purchase on my website. You can purchase them standalone through PayPal. There's a link at the blog post at the very bottom to do that. Or the third way, you can get them free by joining my Just Crazy Blessed team to be a consultant. And when you do that, you actually have access to my entire files library for free. Where you can use those files either for business purposes or for personal use as well. So just however you guys want to use them. But whenever you get, when you qualify for the files, you guys are going to expect a large email that has individual documents included in that email. So you have things like a cover page and the assembly photos, where it'll show you guys how to assemble each of the cards just based on the photos provided. Like I said, the iris paper piecing cards will probably require a little bit of extra assistance, which is why I'm providing these videos for you. But most of the time, good morning, Wendy and Roxanne. Most of the time, my work is pretty simplistic, so you guys are just able to kind of assemble it like a puzzle. So you're going to receive the document with all of the assembly photos on there for you. You are going to receive a full color cutting guide where you guys can take your paper and butcher it down. And this workshop actually has 8 individual card designs, but it makes 3 of each one of those. So a total of 24 cards, 3 each of 8 designs. And their cutting guide is going to reflect that. And it really doesn't use that much paper. I was kind of surprised. But you have a full cutting guide to show you guys how to do that. And then if you're a consultant, you're going to get that consultant release to give you ability to use it for your own business. And then you always are going to have a document called The Rest of the Story in each of my workshops. And it's very workshop specific for you. It's going to talk directly about this particular workshop, some different things that you need to do, tips and tricks, that kind of thing. So this one is a little bit lengthier than normal because there's some more information in here regarding the iris paper piecing and that type of thing. You're also going to receive the template that that I've actually been giving out for a while now, but you're going to receive this in your files as well so that you guys can easily have all the files there together. If you decide to store that email, you'll have these later whenever you go to put the cards together. These are also, when you guys get the files, you're also, when you get that email, it has a Dropbox link. So if you guys like to utilize Dropbox, you can access all of the files that way as well. So they're all contained there together for you. So moving on from the files, I want to get right in and give you guys a peek at the cards themselves. You guys, my lighting is just never going to do the artwork justice. I have to tell you, these cards are absolutely stunning. From the beautiful 3-dimensional iris paper piecing technique there with the shaker windows, so you've got a little bit of glitter and glitz kind of flying around. There's some glitter paper in here. We've got the beautiful bows happening. They're just beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful. So again, there are 8 individual card designs. 4 are the iris paper piecing cards, and the other 4 are just your standard regular cards that don't have that much detail on there. But they all just turned out quite beautifully. This is actually the one we're recreating today, so I'm going to leave it aside here. And if you guys will notice that I did stamp with the archival black on the outside of the shaker windows. So it takes a little bit of drying time, but it looks really, really neat. And you guys will see that today as well. This butterfly, I think, looks spectacular. I think he looks very dimensional and real. So you guys, of course, will see that in one of the assembly videos. A couple of them are just very simplistic. This is just a really cute thank you card, and I think it really would work out well for, sometimes we struggle with masculine cards, and I think this would make a perfect masculine thank you card. This one I love as well because, again, that butterfly looks like it's just popping right off of the card. And we've got a few, it's difficult to see with my lighting, but you've got some gems, some colored sparkles down here on top of the hello friend, on top of those cork little X shapes down there. And then this one was very simplistic as well, with just a little quick bit of stamping. But I think the cards turned out really, really well, guys. And I'm really excited to be creating the first one with you guys today. So we're gonna jump right in to this. As I mentioned, this is card number 1. And so when you guys, as you will see, this is, it matches up, and this is a card we're going to create starting from 1, and we're going to work our way down to number 8, okay? So let's go right ahead and get started. Have my pieces already cut out, and you know I always tell you guys that I always forget something every time I start a video. Guess what I forgot? I forgot to get out my card base. So hang tight just a minute. It's not really like you guys are, you know, shocked that we're still doing this for this mini videos. Like, I never can remember to grab everything when I'm laying it out. And bless my heart, I have all these notes and everything to remind me of what I need, and I forgot it anyway. So that's all right. It is okay. All right, guys, so we're just going to go jump right in, all right? Now, if you guys have questions throughout, if you're watching live and you have questions, just shout them out. I can see my phone while I am working, and I'll be happy to answer them for you to make it a little bit easier. This is up on the blog if you guys want to have a closer look at it. But I love to have a really crisp fold on all of my card bases and basically any of my folds. So I'm always grabbing my bone folder. So we are just going to go right ahead and get to assembling this craziness. Let's see if I can get find my adhesive and all of this goodness. Using a little bit of this pomegranate cardstock here that's included in the Grateful Hearts paper collection. And I love this print. This is such a beautiful color, and I absolutely love it. It probably would be helpful if I lined up with my grid marks on my Versamat so that I could get this centered appropriately. Might be a good idea. And when I cut kits, and if you guys get kits from me, pre-cut kits from me, like if you guys qualify for the Stamp of the Month pre-cut kits and you get them from me, I am almost nearly always going to overcut my pieces. So because I find occasionally the card bases are just a little tiny bit either longer or wider than the suggested measurements. And so occasionally if I cut my pieces exactly like I'm supposed to, they end up a little tiny bit short. So I would rather have to trim off the edge and make it perfectly flush than to have my cardstock not go all the way to the edge and see some white. That kind of drives me crazy. So just a few of my little quirky habits going on there. So we've got these 3 pieces here, guys. And this is a trick that I love to share. I use a Post-it note. And one of the things, again, like we mentioned, unless you guys are just like a perfect cutter, which I am absolutely not, no matter how close I try to get my pieces to, you know, right to, I believe these are 3 inches tall, I never can get them exactly right. And so I tend to, it drives me a little bit crazy when pieces do not match absolutely perfectly. So what I like to do is, since we do not have a way of checking these before we line them all up to get them cut perfectly, I like to solidify them all together, and then I take that over to my paper trimmer. So I call this a little like the Post-it note trick. I don't really know what the, you know, formal name of it would be, but I like to use a Post-it note because the Post-it notes are very, I might have gotten that not all the way over to the edge. Post-it notes are very thin. You're not going to add a lot of dimension or a lot of bulk to your layers, and They're just pretty handy. You're not worrying about scotch tape rolling up or washi tape getting, you know, in the way or whatever. It's going to lay flat, which makes it quite easy to lay the pieces down on top. And so now you guys can see we have all three of the pieces stuck together. And what I'm going to do is then I just take this over to my paper trimmer and lay it in there. I don't know if I'm on camera or not. I'm probably not. Sorry. But you guys probably get the idea. We are going to be able to slice it all up together. So now each of these pieces are absolutely completely flush, okay? Completely flush. So we are going to now adhere them down. I am going to add a little tiny bit of adhesive on the back here. This was kind of an interesting size compared to my Post-it note itself. Normally it's not quite as close in size, but for this particular one it was. So maybe next time I'll just have to use a smaller sticky note. So, okay. All right, Suze, what you doing? Pay attention, girly. Oh my gosh, gotta line this up again. Heavens, y'all. My goodness. Okay. I love the lines on these Versamats. I don't know if you guys like them as much as I do, but sometimes I feel like I cannot craft without all of these tools that we have. So, and then don't act like you're surprised. We knew this was happening, right? Journaling pen to the rescue. And I just love going all the way around. This is absolutely optional. If you guys are not obsessed with your journaling pen the way that I am, it's okay. Absolutely okay, but I love it. I don't feel like a project is complete without it. Okay, remember I told you guys this was going to be real time, so it's going to be long. Oh, thank you guys. Thank you so much, Wendy and Roxanne. I'm so grateful. Okay, so guys, here is where we're really going to start. You guys, like, this is the part that I want you guys to really pay attention to if you are going to be creating these. So what we're going to do is we went ahead and we adhered down our pieces of cardstock in the pattern paper down here like we would a normal card. So I want you guys to see how we're going to begin. Now is the portion that we're going to begin assembling the iris paper piecing portion. So what we're going to do, this is listed on your tool list, okay? So at the top of my listings on my blog, you're going to see your consumable supplies, which are your supplies that you're going to use up, of course, which are your paper and your embellishments and that type of thing. And then below you have your tool list. And so these are things that you're not going to use up. You're going to be able to use workshop after workshop after project. And one of the supplies that you have on that list are the thin cut shaker die set. Now you guys, if you have been tuning into my channel for a while, we have I've got my use out of these things months ago. Oh my gosh, I've used them on so many projects. It's not even funny. I love, like seriously addicted. But this is such a great tool right here. All four of the dies for $21.95. So you have your circle here that's going to punch out the back portions of your shaker windows. You have your frame here, and you have these really fun confetti. So if you guys need project inspiration to use these dies, I got it going on. Oh my gosh, cards, layouts, projects like 3D gifties, and oh my gosh, it's too fun. Too fun. So what we're going to use today is we of course have already cut out the frame using the espresso cardstock, as you guys will see right here. I've already cut that out for you, so you don't have to wait on me to do that. But what I want to show you guys is what we're doing with the large circle, how we're going to create this hole inside our actual card base, okay? So we are going to, if you turn your card this way, it is going to fit through the Cuttlebug correctly. We don't have to bend anything or pry anything open or anything like that. So, and of course we have an A plate and a B plate. When you use a Cuttlebug, you're always going to use an A plate and a B plate, unless you're using something that I don't know about. But I always use an A and a B. And then the third plate, okay, this is a little bit challenging, looking through my phone. Let's see if we can get this lined up correctly while I'm not talking, because y'all know when my mouth is running, my brain is not working, right? I think you've heard me say that before. But your third plate, they call this a sandwich, by the way. Your third plate is determined by what you're actually doing with your color book. So if you were embossing, like embossing with an embossing folder, your third plate would be a second B plate. So B for boss, emboss, B for boss, okay? Your third plate, since we're cutting today, is a C plate, C for cut, okay? I don't know if they engineered it that way. I have no idea, probably not, but that is just how I personally remember what my sandwich needs to be, because the thickness of the plates is what determines how do you get the correct calibration whenever you're running these plates through there, so that it's going to cut correctly, not too shallow and not too deep. Does that make sense? So today our third plate is a C plate, and I love saying that. And I know that I say it with most of the videos, but I love saying that because I'm always going to, still to this day, I still get messages on my Facebook page saying, Susan, oh my gosh, I never even had heard that trick about the embossing plates before. So I always love to share that. But if you guys will notice, I have a little bit of scrap washi tape here on the die. And that's because it's going to hold my die down in the correct position, where when I put my plate on here, occasionally you guys will know if you've used a Cuttlebug much, if you put a plate on here, occasionally it'll make your thin cut jostle or shift just a little bit, and I don't want it to shift. I want it to stay exactly where I've placed it. Occasionally when you pick it up and you take it over to your Cuttlebug machine, it'll do the same thing. So with just a little bit of washi tape, it's going to hold that die in place, and I have not gone far. I just don't normally emboss on the same table that my phone is on, because it makes my camera really, really bumpy, and then I feel like you guys are getting, you know, like seasick. So the great thing about the washi tape itself is that it peels right off, and it doesn't take any of the color. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Wait for this to make me a liar. Oh my gosh. Ooh, don't you rip that up. Don't you rip that up. Oh my gosh, you guys. Well, washi tape doesn't normally take any of the color off. It looked like it was kind of giving me a little bit of a scare there for a minute. Okay, maybe this is all right. Well, okay, guys. Well, washi tape normally doesn't take the color up. Okay, that's all right. Yay! Phew! I got a little bit nervous. Okay, so peeled out our inside. Probably be helpful if I got on camera, Suze. Heaven's sakes. Okay, get these plates out of the way. So now, sorry, let's get all this craziness out of the way. So now we are left with this beautiful card with a big fat hole in it, okay? Okay, so now comes the fun part, y'all. This is the fun part, I am telling you. I love this. I totally love this. The more I do it, the more I enjoy it. And I remember when I used to do this years ago, kind of what a magnetic plate. I do have a magnetic plate, Kim. However, in fact, I'm going to grab it and I'll show you. And you will see why I don't like to use it. Hang on. It's not very far. Just a second. So it's sat. I haven't used it for a while, so it's sat, so it doesn't totally look the part, but see how it warps? It really warps quite a little bit. And so I don't use it anymore. It just is very bothersome. It's like kind of thick, and it doesn't, I don't know. I can never work very well with a surface that's not flat. And even though your dies are going to stick down, and I say stick down, I know they stick down under one layer, but, you know, we are cutting through, let's see, how many layers are we cutting through on this particular card? We're cutting through a card base, the pomegranate, and the gray. So we're cutting through 3 layers. So whether it would stick going through 3 layers, I don't know. But it just, if I were to do it over again, I wouldn't even have wasted my money on it, honestly. I did use it for a workshop a couple months ago where I actually had lined up some different text letters and to cut through, and I wanted them to stay where they were, and it was okay. But I still tell you, I can achieve the very same like outcome with just a little bitty strip of scrap washi tape. So honestly, if you haven't bought one yet, I probably wouldn't. If it was me, I wouldn't waste my money on it again, because I tried both ways. As you guys know, especially even with your plastic plates, they do tend to warp just a little tiny bit. So what I do is I'll use one side for a little while until I see it starting to warp a little bit, and then I flip it over and I start using the other side, and it flattens it back out. So this one I tried as well. I used, as you guys can see, I used it on this side, I used it on the back side, and it just never would flatten back out. I'm not holding it this way. This is exactly how it was. So if you haven't bought one, Kim, I don't know. I mean, it'll just be a personal decision for you. I know that. But if it was me to do over again, you guys know I'm a little bit frugal. I probably wouldn't buy one again. But again, that's just me, just me. Okay, so now, as we were talking about my love of washi tape, Close to My Heart does have these cool little dispensers, so gotta love that. But we are using on this particular workshop, guys. Now, this template that many of you guys already have because I've been giving it out for a while. I personally, this is a template that I got online that was free to use. What I did is I sat and I fiddled for a while, printed it out, resized it, printed it out again, resized it again, so it will fit our shaker die set. You put your magnetic plate under your B plate, Sue, but doesn't is your B plate enough to make it where you don't stick to the magnet? Can you still feel the magnet through the B plate? I would think maybe the B plate would be too thick to do that, but I could try that as well. But this is a template that I resized, guys, to fit our shaker windows. And as you will see, we've cut out using the backside, the large 3-inch circle. And as you guys see, it's a little bit more narrow. It's smaller than our opening. And it's supposed to be that way because we don't want our pattern to be sized around the outside opening. We want it to be sized correctly, matching with the frame, okay? Because the frame is what's going to cover up the outside of it. So we need this to match the frame. So that is why it is sized correctly to fit the frame, but not the outside circle. It works well. Then I just use another B on top instead of a C. Okay, I'll have to try it, Sue. Maybe that was helpful for Kim as well. I will try that. So this is sized to fit our shaker window dies. And this particular workshop, there are 2 sizes that I provided for you guys. And I just put them on the very same piece of paper. I thought it would be easier to keep track of 1 piece of paper than 2. You guys could do, you could laminate this if you would like, but you can use it over and over and over again. It's not one of those where you use it and then throw it away. As you guys can see, I still have like some washi tape residue from the last time. This is the original one that I've used from the very beginning. And there's 2 different patterns here for you. One's a medium and one is a small. Now, the medium is the pattern that we have used. Hi, Charisse and Mandy. Good afternoon, guys. Thanks for hopping in. We use the medium pattern for this particular workshop, and really the only difference between the medium and the easy is that the medium has a little bit more areas to fill in, so you have a little bit more of an intricate look. And what I did notice about the difference between the medium and the easy is that I wanted to use 1/2-inch strips of paper. I think that for paper efficiency, it was best. And I also love the idea of being able to use up some of my leftover zip strips. You guys know those zip strips at the top of our pattern paper. Love them. Whoever gave that idea a long time ago is a genius. But I wanted to be able to use up the 1/2-inch zip strips. Now, what I noticed quickly about these 2 patterns is that the medium, the spaces are much smaller. So you guys could quickly see that on the medium diagram, hey Jackie, hey Catherine, thanks for hopping in, guys. On the medium pattern, your 1/2-inch wide pieces of paper are going to match up quite perfectly. But if you guys move it down here and you look at the easy pattern and pretend like we're taping our card base here, you guys see how right away that your 1/2-inch strip of paper is not going to completely cover up, like go all the way over to the edge of your frame. So if you guys get this template and you wish to use the easy pattern, you absolutely can do that. You just need to be advised that you should use a wider strip of paper. I recommend probably a 3/4 of an inch strip of paper instead of a 1/2 inch if you choose to use the bottom one. However, for today, we are going to use the top one. So we're going to line it up to the best of our ability. We're kidding ourselves if we think that it's going to be like perfect, because it's not. But we're going to line it up to the best of our ability and place it down there. And you guys probably really do want to put some washi tape on there because you want it to stay there, not move around. You do need it to stay there, but you're also going to need it there for a while because this process does take a little bit of time. Pardon me. Okay, so I just want to make sure really quickly. I want to get my pieces. Let's see. So if I want the floral up this way, I want to make sure that I get my pieces correct. get them where they are in the right order, okay? So one of the things that I did notice quickly is that whenever you guys start this, it's easy if you flip your pieces over to the back side. So you're actually using the very back side of your papers. You can get them in order first, but then you want to use the back side because that's the side you're going to be looking at, okay? So this is what my piles are going to look like, and they're probably going to be off camera unless I can move all of this stuff over. They're probably going to be off camera. Oh my word. Let's see if we can get this. Sorry guys, I got them a little bit unsituated here. Okay, so now what we are going to do is you're just going to put a little bit of adhesive around the outside. Now, hello Tony, hope you guys are having a good day. We are going to, this is kind of like one of those color by numbers, paint with numbers, whatever you want to call it. If you can follow a number, you're totally going to be able to do this, guys. So let's just say we're going to start with number 1, and we're going to put some, I want the yellow down here on the number 1. So what we're going to do is we're going to add just a little teeny tiny bit of adhesive, and it doesn't take a lot, you guys, because we're going to be, we just need enough to keep the pieces in the spaces that they are. You're actually going to put a liner on the back side of it to cover up all of this mess, and so the liner will also help adhere those pieces down so they're not going to be flying anywhere. So you don't need a ton of adhesive, you just need enough to keep these little strips where they're going to go. So you want to place a little tiny bit of adhesive over here. You guys can see where this is going to line up. Here is a little space that has the 1 on it. So you're going to put a dot of adhesive here and a dot of adhesive on this side. And I'll also mention to you guys that if you're very frugal with your paper, and in order to make this stretch, you need to be frugal with your paper, okay? Because you can create the medium template using 4 12-inch long pieces of paper, okay? That's all it takes, and you usually have like an inch left over. It's so funny. But 12 inches will stretch, but you guys have got to be frugal with your paper. And by frugal, I will show you what I mean. Pardon me. We need to go all the way to the edge of this frame here, and you want your edge of your paper to line up with this number, the line on the number right here. So we're going to stick this in down here. You see my little dot of adhesive here. We're putting it right on top of this little line, so it's covering up that number 1 space perfectly. You just need to line it up. I'm pushing down on the dot of adhesive here, and then I'm trimming right next to it. Okay, that is what I mean by being frugal with your paper. Now, if you guys make your strips 3 and 4 inches long and you're wasting all that paper, you're not going to have enough to go all the way around the circle. But if you're careful with your paper, you absolutely can make it all the way through. So now we are going over here to number 2. So we're just putting a little dot of adhesive right here and another one over here. And it's okay that it sticks out. You're going to have some paper that sticks out, you guys, because we're this close to the edge. It's no worries. We're going to trim it off with our scissors later, and we'll fix it with this little espresso cardstock liner that is underneath here as well, okay? So here's number 2. We're just lining it up down here, and it's going to nest right in on top of that number 2 space, pushing down on our adhesive dots and trimming off the excess, and we're ready to go to the next one, okay? So this is the part, you guys, that I tell you is like going to take a long time. You're going to be so tired of watching these, but I have committed to these videos to make it a little bit more user-friendly for everyone who's wanting to get the workshop, so that you guys are not completely overwhelmed. And if you need me at 3 o'clock in the morning and you're trying to put it together and I'm sleeping, you can refer back to the video and there will be no problem. Ha ha ha. So I've committed. If you guys don't want to watch, that's absolutely okay, but I committed to doing them. So round and round we go. Oh, I'm so glad, Lorraine. Thank you so much. I'm so, so glad. I hope that this workshop is really enjoyable. I tell you guys, it's so funny. It brought back such a flood of memories when, I tell you, what gave me this idea is we're going back around on number 2, round number 2, you guys. So of course we're to number 5 now. So we're just moving our dots of adhesive again to the edge of that number 5. Okay, it's just a circle. We're just going right around in a circle. There's nothing to it. Okay, but it brought back a flood of memories. What gave me this idea is that a dear friend, a sweet lady that had a shop here in the little town where I live. And years ago, and I'm telling you years ago, like long before the days of me being a consultant, and I've been a consultant going on 10 years now, she had some cards of mine that I made to sell in her shop. And she recently closed the shop down. And she was cleaning it out, and she emailed me, and she says, "Hey, Suze, you've got these cards here if you want to come get them." So I went to pick them up from her, and I opened up this bag of cards, and I thought, oh my gosh, I can't even believe that people paid money for these years ago, because I thought, wow, they are so not good. They are just so not good. But it made me think about how much fun this iris paper piecing was back in the day. And I used to do it when Cody was little bitty. And I can remember very vividly, that there were nights that he was asleep on my lap. And we had a little, like a little kind of a coffee table right next to the chair that I usually sat in whenever I put him to sleep. And I would do this like to the right of me, working on this, on these iris paper, these cards, while he was sleeping on my lap. And it just kind of brought back a flood of memories, and how it was very relaxing to me. It seems very like monotonous, like it would, takes you forever, and it really does. It does take a while, but it was so very relaxing to me. And I just enjoyed it so much. And when I started doing the cards again recently, this last month, it just brought back all those memories. And I remembered again, gosh, Suze, this really was relaxing. Really, really was relaxing. So we've made it to number 10, you guys. We are on circle around here, number 3. This is our 3rd layer. So they continue, of course, to get a little bit smaller every time. It's just so pretty, you guys. It is such a pretty look. I love it. It is take a little bit of extra TLC, but it really is quite pretty. And this would be a really pretty look as well on a scrapbook page. But these are the kind of cards that your loved ones will not put in a drawer. They will not throw away because they're pieces of art. They're works of art. I love to tell the story. If you guys have listened to my videos, and you've heard me say it before, but my grandparents were probably the people in my life that could appreciate my art the most. And when I would send them cards quite a bit. And when I would go over to their house to visit them, my grandma would always have taken all of my cards, or sometimes I would make her like really cool, embellished photo frames and stuff like that for Christmas or her birthday. And anything that I made them was never put away, ever. Like, you would go over there in July and there were Christmas cards up on the wall that I had given them for Christmas time. It was so, so, so funny. But they, okay, when I talk, my brain is not working, so I just have to make sure that I'm on track and I don't make a goof. But it is so funny that I would go over there and Grandma would just like have all of my cards taped, like literally taped with Scotch tape up on the wall. She was so proud of them. And I would always tell her, "Grandma, oh my gosh, you do not have to put my cards up there." And she says, "I could never put away a project that my Susie made." So I just blessed my heart. It's so nice to know that when you guys put, a piece of your heart in a piece of art and you send it to someone, it's always nice when they really, truly can appreciate it. And Grandma probably didn't even, both of my grandparents on my daddy's side have passed away now, but they probably did not have any idea the hours and the time that it took to really make one of those cards, but they sure do appreciate it anyway. And that's always, it's just a good feeling, a good feeling. This is just, I don't know. I just love this, guys. It's just relaxing. Paper crafting in general is very relaxing to me. And I feel really blessed that I get to do it for my full-time job. I get to actually do this every single day. I make a full-time income doing it. And I just love it. I just absolutely love it. I promise you, I just have the best job ever. Getting to hang out with you guys, and when you spend a few minutes of your day with me, that just blesses my heart. Absolutely blesses my heart. Guys, we're like nearing the end of this. We're like getting in the home stretch. I'm telling you. Wouldn't this be fun to get some of your girlfriends together and craft away? We used to do that years ago, before I got so busy and my girlfriends kind of started doing other things. We used to get together quite often and scrapbook and make cards together. And golly, it was just a good day of girl fellowship, I tell you. Just a good, fun day. Relaxing day. Turn on some music and visit a little while. Just a good day. So now I get to do it by myself, and then I turn my camera on and get to talk you guys' ear off. My husband he kids at me, and he says, "Honey, I think that You're so windy with your videos. You're so long-winded because you're here all day, every day by yourself, like without human contact. And so then whenever you have any type of outreach to the outside world, you just kind of talk like crazy. And he's totally right. I think he's totally right. Okay, so look, last piece of the blue, actually it's yellow. Look, you have about an inch left. So if you're conservative with your paper, your 12-inch little strip is going to make it all the way around. So now you guys can go through your paper selections, and as long as you have, pick out 4 of your favorite patterns. It'll kind of coordinate together. And as long as you have a 1/2 inch by 12-inch strip, you can have like the little teeny tiniest scraps left. But if you got 12 inches of that stuff, girly, you're good to go for one of these patterns. You just get right on it. Just get right on it. Oh, come on. Hey, Carol, thank you so much for hopping in, darling. Hope you guys are having a good day. Oh my word, it got cold in Missouri. Holy cow. And it's going to get a lot colder. They're talking about snow in our forecast tonight. And I believe the weather this morning said it was supposed to get down to like 18 again. And yeah, it's, oh my gosh, I'm not ready for wintertime, y'all. So it's really great that I have a job where I don't have to leave the house if I don't want to, right? So here's our scraps over here, guys. Can you see them off camera? Those are our scraps. So again, if you're conservative with your paper, you're totally fine. You'll make it all the way around. So now we have the mess of the iris paper piecing done here in the back. We're going to move our little template out of the way. Peel off the washi tape. Da, da, da. Oh, it picked up a little tiny bit of my card base. That's okay. We're going to cover it up. All right. So now you have all this mess that you have to clean up, right? So we're going to just flip it around, trimming off this overhanging layer of gunk, layer of mess here. This is what we look like on the front, okay? See, it's really pretty on the front. Just needs a little bit of assistance to fix it on the back. You dread the cold winter and the snow. It looks like you get more, you'll get more than you can have it. I don't want it, Joan. You all keep it down there in Springfield. We don't need that craziness. I just hate wintertime. I hate it. Springtime is my fave. Have my windows open even with all my allergies. I love to hear the birds chirp and the flowers and the smell of fresh cut grass. Give me all the spring. Y'all can keep the cold. I don't really even like fall, to be honest with you, because fall means that wintertime is coming. So I'm like probably the only person on the planet that doesn't like fall. But I'm going to, after we trimmed off the outer edge of the overhanging, guys, we're just adding adhesive around the outside of this. Now, your liners, this is mentioned in the rest of the story document. When you guys get this workshop, when you qualify for the workshop, no matter how you get it, your first document that you open up needs to be that one called The Rest of the Story. That is really going to kind of give you like a head start on what you're doing and what you need to start with first and that kind of thing. So there are pieces in the cutting guide that are listed as the inside liners. They actually say that, okay? That's what these are for. And so what they're cut just the tiniest bit bigger than your card base, okay? And that is so it's going to cover up the mess of the iris paper piecing, but it's not too big that it won't fit inside your envelope still, okay? Now you guys, if you've hung around me for any time at all, you know that I'm obsessed with borders. I love borders and frames and that kind of thing. So that is why it's overhanging a little bit. If you don't like the look of the overhang, you don't have to keep it. You can trim it down to your standard 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, which is the size of the card flap here. So if you want it to just match exactly and not have that overhanging border, you don't have to have it. I like the look of the outside, the overhanging. This is espresso cardstock, which is the dark brown, and this is espresso cardstock, which is the dark brown. And so it matches perfectly, and I think that it just ties the entire card together really, really well. So that's why I like the border. So this is kind of a funky measurement, but if you cut it as the cutting guide states, it's going to give you this nice, really pretty border around here. And so, of course, you guys are going to need... You're going to need to put the border on before the liner on before you go any further, because if not, when you close this, all of the adhesive that was the leftover portions of the iris paper piecing little pattern back here is going to stick to the inside of your card. So you need to go ahead and put the liner on before you go any further with the front of the card, okay? So now we are ready to work on the shaker window portion. Now you guys have probably seen a lot of the shaker window videos, and so you probably know how to go from this here on out. But we're going to go ahead, like I said, we committed to doing the whole thing, so that's what we're doing. The stamp set that we're using for this workshop, you guys, is the Grateful Heart card making stamp set, and I absolutely love it. It does come with a set of thin cuts. However, I actually didn't use them. In fact, I'm pretty sure it comes with thin cuts. Yes, it does come with thin cuts. Okay. Wait a minute. Maybe it doesn't. Oh my gosh, hang on. I'm gonna grab my book because I don't want to tell you guys wrong. Just a second. Crafting on the fly, y'all. Crafting on the fly. Hang on. I just want to make sure if it has a stamp set or a thin cut set or not. I know that I didn't use the thin cuts. Okay, it does not have a thin cut set. Okay, it's on page 50. It does not have a thin cut set, so I am not crazy. But it is I love it. It's got this really great wood grain. It has some small sentiments: thankful, grateful, blessed. This butterfly is amazing, absolutely amazing. He's my favorite. Thank you, which you saw, I already cut them apart. We'll talk about that later. And then hello, friend, which is a sentiment we're using today. But a lot of really fun sentiments. And it's a great one of the medium-sized stamp sets, so super affordable on your pocketbook as well. So one of the things that is so much fun, you feel the same way working from home, no communication with anyone, and we need to chat and get some good chat time so we know each other better. Cerise, I am in. I am totally in. Absolutely, girly. And I'm glad that you don't have to get out in the cold and the snow either. Okay, so this is one of the shaker acetate windows, and you guys have probably seen a ton of my shaker window videos to know kind of the components of all of this. We're going to cover it anyway. But what I've actually done is I took my absolute favorite, y'all know what it is, the Archival Black, and I stamped, see if we can get something light behind here so you can see it. I stamped the Hello Friend sentiment directly on the window. Now, you're not going to be able to take this and go right to creating with it, you guys. You're going to have to set it aside to dry. So I did this one this morning, earlier, so it had time to dry. I don't know, I probably stamped it, I don't know, probably a couple hours before I did the video, but it didn't take that long to dry. I just didn't start the video until a little bit later. But I'm going to warn you, this is a little bit slippery. And when I say slippery, I mean like newborn calf, snot on the road, kind of slippery. I'm not even kidding. It's crazy. So your small sentiment stamps were quite a bit easier to stamp than something like the butterfly. I tried to put the butterfly on here several times, and my hand would slide, or I wouldn't get all of it stamped. There would be a little portion that wasn't exactly perfect, and it would drive me crazy. So I gave up on the butterfly, and we just have used sentiments. So I will tell you a few things that I learned. You guys know that when you use the acetate windows, I am going to show you guys one here in just a minute. We're not going to use that one today, obviously, because it has to dry. But when you guys grab the acetate windows, one side has a protective layer on it, the other one does not. Occasionally you have to scratch to figure out which side has the layer on it. I don't think this one's it. But I just have my piercing tool and I just scratch on the very top. So if you scratch the acetate, you're not going to leave a big scratch here on your window. So no one's going to see it because your frame is going to cover the edge of it up, okay? So I just scratch here on the edge. This is the side that has the acetate on it. You're going to pull out that protective layer. And all that does basically is kind of protect that acetate from getting scratched, you know, in transit and when it's getting shipped and kind of like jostling around in the package. But one of the things that I learned is that it stamps better on the opposite side as the protective layer, okay? So we're going to use the opposite side of the protective layer. And I know that you can't see that very well because of the dark color of the mat, but we're gonna keep going anyway. So you want to stamp on the opposite layer of where the protective coating was, and let's see. And if you guys make a mistake and it's not exactly perfect and you don't like how it's stamped, you do not have to worry about going through all of your acetate windows and wasting them if you make a mistake. If you get to it quickly, you can take like a baby wipe, or occasionally I just used a Kleenex. I'm gonna be honest with you, on the days that I had old leggings on, because I don't do jeans when I stay at home all day and work. Ha ha ha. Like seriously, Charisse can relate. It's the best part of working from home, right? Being in your jammies or your comfy clothes. But on the days that I had on old ratty leggings, I actually just wiped it on my leggings to get the ink off, and it came right off, okay? So if you get to it quickly before that ink starts to dry, you can wipe it off, clean off your acetate window, and then start again, okay? So while you're learning, if you get frustrated and you make a goof or your hand slips or something like that, do not be nervous. Don't be upset that you're going to start wasting all of your acetate windows because you goofed. You can just wipe them off and they'll be okay. Now, if you guys don't feel comfortable stamping on the acetate and you just say, yeah, it's not really for me, then of course you have the inside of your card where you can put your sentiment in there, okay? So you have options. Leaving you with options, girls. If you don't want to do the stamping. So again, just like we do on the paper, guys, there's nothing to it. Absolutely no makeup and hair on top of my head. Yes, Charisse. Yes, yes, yes. Like there are days it doesn't even see a brush. Ponytail is my friend. Not even kidding. I tell you what, I tell my husband all the time. I thank him all the time. I mean, I bet I say it once every 2 or 3 days. I will send him a Facebook message when he's working and I'll say, darling, thank you so much for believing in me so that I could do this for a living and not have to go outside in the cold or the rain or, you know, all of those working conditions and having to put my makeup on and, you know, get dressed to see people. Oh my gosh, you guys, it's like the best part of it. I tell you, best part ever. Okay, back on track, Suze. Sorry, I get so giddy, I tell you, because I'm here all by myself. All by myself. So we're inking up our Hello Friend in the black archival ink, centering it to the best of my ability. Because remember, our frame is going to go around the outside. And this looks pretty good, you guys. This looks pretty darn good. Okay. So I didn't smudge a whole lot. Let's see if we can get... Okay. So it didn't really smudge. It looks okay. So I am going to put this one aside. So I'll have it ready for the next one of the cards that we create with the Hello Friend sentiment. Okay. So I'm just going to move this out of the way so I don't end up putting a book or something on it like a crazy person. I tell you, it's the best ink pad ever, you guys. Best ink pad ever. So now, let's get back to the fun parts of our card. So we have our stamped acetate here. I am going to go ahead. I did use the gold shimmer pen, guys, and I don't know, you can see the gold a little better than you can see the clear because the clear has a very clear shimmer, but the gold has the gold flecks. Can you guys see the gold around the outside of that frame there? I tell you what, if you do not have a shimmer pen, there it goes shining. If you guys do not have these shimmer pens, holy cow. Try to add one to your order. Try to add one to your order. It just, you know, like I think they're $5.50. They're not expensive at all. Try to add them to your order. We have 6 colors right now, and I tell you, they are absolutely amazing. They're amazing. It's like the fun and the prettiness of glitter without like all of the craziness, the crazy mess of glitter. Okay, hang on. I didn't apparently get this shook up very well because I don't have much shimmer happening. I have a lot of liquid, but not a lot of shimmer. Another thing that's really fun is I know a lot of consultants that will get the clear shimmer brush and they will unscrew the top and they'll place some re-inker of their favorite colors. They'll just put some re-inker down there in the brush, and so then they have the shimmer brush in their favorite color. So you guys can do that as well if you would like. I've not got that ambitious yet. I'm just using the colors that the company has in the book, and I tell you, I don't feel like I am being cheated at all. I tell you, love them, love, love, love. So it goes on really quick. You have a lot of shimmer. Can you see it shining there? Holy smokes, it's so pretty. So it dries pretty instantly. I mean, it's not wet at all. But we'll go ahead and got that part done. Now let's get to our shaker portion. So you guys saw what we did with the window. These are the little packages of the shaker window foam and acetate that you guys are going to get. When you purchase these, you're going to get 6 sets, okay, for $4.50. And if you want to complete all 24 cards, you'll actually need 2 sets because there's actually 12 shaker cards in the entire workshop. Now, you guys can grab a friend. The way I've designed this workshop is instead of breaking it up into 2 people, you can even easily break it up into 3 people because there are 3 each of the 8 card designs. So if you and a couple friends want to get together and you guys want to split the cost of the supplies and put these together, you guys each can make make all of the same cards. So if you take out your this piece here, you guys, like I said, you have 6 of these. So you're only going to use the outside circle here for your frame. That's what's going to provide the dimension of the window itself, and it's also going to lock all of the goodies inside. So you're actually not even going to use all of these inside squares in here, but just put them back in your little adhesive basket. This is my work surface over here to the left. So I just keep track of them. And instead of using foam tape, now I have already these foam squares that are already cut for me. And I've only used foam tape one time since I started making these. And that was just because I needed the strips of the foam tape. But it was great. I feel like I am buying the shaker windows and I'm getting a roll of foam tape for free. So again, I've said it many times, but I love it that I feel like the company is very mindful of my budget. I feel like they want to give me a lot for my investment, just like I want to give my customers a lot for their investment. And I love that. I love working for a company that's mindful of the money that we spend that way. So keep all of these extras. You guys will absolutely use them on other projects. But what my friend Chris told me, it was a great idea, is if you take your piercing tool and you just run it around the inside of this circle here, what we need to do is these have a few fibers that are kind of hanging. And so by running your piercing tool around the edge here, you're just loosening up those fibers so that when you pull off this circle, you're protecting the integrity of it, because this is what is going to make the window itself, and we want it to fit appropriately. We want it to fit, correctly into this space here. So you need to make sure that you kind of protect the integrity of the circle itself. So we've pulled it off here. I've left this sticky, non-sticky surface here on top. I've not pulled it off. So what we're going to do is we want to just, it is crazy sticky too. We want to get it inside this circle here. Now, let me tell you, I don't know about you guys, but I very many times cannot get this exactly perfect. Now, this is me thinking ahead. Since I am putting the bow down here in the lower left corner, I am going to start at the upper left corner and get it lined up correctly. So if it doesn't match exact at any portion of my circle, I want it to not match down here where my bow is going to cover it up. Does that make sense? So we're going to start up here at the top right. I have somebody pulling in and I don't know who it is. Oh, it's UPS. I'm not even expecting a package. Okay, so we're pushing this into the space, guys, and don't push it down until you get it lined up correctly, because it's a little bit difficult to pull off of there. Sorry, just closing my blinds so he doesn't think I want to come to the door. If they see me in my office, which is right next to the front door, they think I should come and greet them, and I don't want to do that. So don't push it down till you get it lined up correctly, because it's very difficult to get the doggone thing off of there once you have pushed it down. So I think my puppy is eating the driver. Okay. Little tiny bit of finagling, guys. Just a little teeny tiny bit. Okay. All right, golly, that turned out just pretty almost perfect. Okay, but you guys see what I mean whenever I say that if you start at the opposite end of where your bow is going to be, if I were to have a space that wasn't going to line up when I got to the end, we were going to be able to cover it up with the bow. So gotta love that, right? Love ways to cover up our blunders. Okay, got a little bit of the loose gold sequins. This is also on the supply list for you guys. Going to pull up the protective layer here. It seems like to me that I do better that way than pulling it up after I get the sequins in there. So I'm adding just a few. Now, I'm not going to put a ton of them in here, because really the beauty of this card to me is the iris embellishment portion of it. And so it really doesn't, to me, it doesn't really need a whole lot of sequins to kind of give it some jazz, because I think the iris portion is the pretty part, and I don't want to cover all of that up. So as I have mentioned many times, these little sequins like to piggyback each other. And so now that UPS is gone, I want to open up my blinds. It helps me with my light just a little teeny tiny bit. Sorry for all the interruptions, guys. Like, it's just crafting in real time, right? So I'm piggybacking some of these, because once you put that acetate window on top, you're not going to have a way to unpiggyback them. And if they get stuck in there, they're not going to fly around. And then, that's kind of a pain in the tail. So Okay, so we have our acetate window ready to go, and I've got it down here on my shirt, and I'm just wiping off any fingerprints that there might be on there because I want it to be clear and not fuzzy or anything like that. So now we are going to lay it onto our, attempting to get it straight. Suze, will you pay attention and get the doggone thing straight? Lord. Okay. My gosh, you guys, can you feel the pressure? Okay. Stuck him down. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Oh my gosh, you guys. That's so pretty. Oh my gosh. Okay, so now we're ready to put our frame on there. A little bit of liquid adhesive. And just a little tiny bit around this frame. It doesn't take a lot, but what I love about the liquid adhesive, you guys, and I know that I mention this every time I make a shaker card, but it gives you a little bit of forgiveness time. If you were to use a tape runner or some type of adhesive that was not movable, like a liquid adhesive, you would have to get this exactly perfect your first time out, or else you were in trouble, because by the time you tried to get it peeled up from there, it's going to have something ripped and really be bothersome. So, but if you use liquid adhesive, you have a little bit of time to just kind of move it around and kind of slide it around if it did not get lined up correctly right away. Okay, so I like to put my frame down, and then I'm just going to stick, it fits perfectly, it's like it's meant to be there, right? I'm put my ink pad on there so it will dry exactly flat. So now we're going to move on to the bow portion, and you guys have heard my spiel about the Bow Easy. Can't help it. Love, love, love it. Where is my green ribbon? Here we go. Okay, so today we are going to create, let's see which size it is. I think it's this one here. It is. Okay, so if you guys have not seen any of the tutorials about the Bow Easy, there's tons of them right here on the business page. This is the neatest little bow maker ever, ever, ever. It's very inexpensive. It's just like, I don't know, $5 with a little bit of shipping from eBay, and they're supposed to ship all over the world. However, I learned from a fellow consultant they do not ship to New Zealand, so I'm sorry about that. But they ship all over the world, except for New Zealand probably. And this one makes 7 different sizes of bows. It's very compact. It's very lightweight. It's actually like kind of a flexible piece of plastic, but I love it because I know they have other types of bow makers, but I'm like a less is more kind of girl. I don't need to spend a lot of money, and I don't need to have all these fancy schmancy gadgets and all of that. Just give me what's going to get the job done, and let's do it. You know, I don't have to think too hard about it. So this is what I like. It takes up practically no room in my scrapbook room. I used to make a lot of bows while we were traveling in the car, because I'm ADD. You guys know that I can't sit still. Heard this spiel before. So it goes really well in the car if you need to take it with you to do things while you're, you know, waiting in a waiting room or traveling or something like that. It gives you something really fun to do. So that is why I love it. And I think that it showcases our ribbon and our fibers really, really well. Okay, so quick, fast tutorial, not as in-depth as you would probably like, but we are going to pick the size that you're going to use. I'm leaving my tail here on the left. I am right-handed. If you're left-handed, you're going to want to flip-flop this probably. But I'm pinching with my thumb and my finger here. This is really the key to making your bow tight and snug and giving it a good shape, is you don't want to let go of your thumb and your finger here on the left, okay? So we're looping it across all the way. We're going to make a double bow today. Bringing it back around, crossing it over. The X makes a very pretty bow, okay? Bringing it back around. I've not let go with my thumb and my finger, okay? So here's our tail. I'm probably going to cut a little bit longer tail than I normally would, just so you guys can see what I'm doing with it and where it's going. It's a little bit easier to see if the tail's longer. So just for demonstrative purposes, I'm going to leave it a little longer. So you're going to take your tail. I've not let go of the tension on my left hand. Oh, Connie, bless your heart. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Roxanne, yes, I love that it's flat too. I absolutely love it. My favorite part is that years ago when I used to do these in the car when my husband was driving, I had like a little to-go bag that had a lot of my supplies in it, and I loved it because it just would fit like right down inside that outside pocket, and I didn't have to take any space out of my bag to hold the bow maker. So it's very compact, and that is one of the reasons why I love it. Because you guys have heard me say before, I used to create kits and stuff on my bed. That's not the only place that I had before we built our home, was to create in our bedroom. So space was like a big issue to me back then. So we're taking our tail, and it's going to go right through this middle hole right here, okay? So you guys can see quickly, like if we were going to create a smaller one, You could make one that's a couple inches here, and you would run your tail through the middle here. But if you wanted to make a really small one, you would use these two prongs here and run your tail through the middle. So the same way on this side, okay? So you guys can see how there are multiple sizes here depending on, you know, of course, the size of bow that you need. But it's just going to be determined on which one of these little, the prongs that you want to use. So we're going to put the tail right here through the middle. Drag it back through. I'm still keeping the tension here with my left hand. That is really going to be your key, guys. You let go of that, your bow is going to fall apart and you're going to have to start over, which is okay. It's going to be good practice, but you'll have to start over. So bring your tail back through, and it's going to go right back through that loop, okay? Well, if my tail was long, it would go through the loop. Okay, hang on. Hold on to your shorts, girls. It's going right through the loop. You're pulling, okay? Now, you don't want to pull too hard that you break off the prongs. I have a lot of Bow Easies that have the prongs broken off on several of them. But you want to, whenever you're ready to pull tight, I pinch my knot right here with my fingers to keep from putting so much pressure on the prongs themselves. But you're going to pull, and I pull both of them down, both of your tails down, because I want my tails to be even. And I tell you, the day that I finally feel like I figured it out, because to me, this has had a really big learning curve. I watched YouTube video after YouTube video, and it took me a while to figure it out. But the day that I figured it out was the day that I realized I was actually creating my bow backwards and upside down. See that? Backwards and upside down. How cool is that, right? So then you just slide it off of your Bow Easy, and you have this really pretty bow. And I don't know about you guys, but I could work my whole life and I would never be able to make a bow that pretty with my hands. So this is why you're not normally going to see me recommend products that we do not carry in our product line, but this one just showcases our products so well. I just like to talk about it. It just does such a fine job. So now we have this beautiful bow that we're going to stick down here, or you guys can stick yours wherever you want, but I'm going to put mine down here in the left. I like to, for me, the best way to adhere them is with some glue dots. And as you guys will see, especially with this ribbon right here, this ribbon does this a lot. This is a very thin ribbon. These little loops like to kind of hide back down inside each other. Kind of play peekaboo a little bit. So what I find is instead of to get them to hide back down inside each other, what I will actually do is I'll spread them apart, and I will actually place a glue dot, one of the large glue dots right here in between on top of both of these little loops. And not only is that glue dot going to hold the bow onto your card, it's also going to help hold those loops open so that they don't fall back down inside each other. Okay, does that make sense? So like always, you're going to take your project to your row of glue dots. Don't take the glue dot off of the roll, because then you're going to be picking them out of your hair and your teeth and all of that. It's really quite messy. These things like mean business. I'm not even kidding. Okay, pulled them off of there. You guys can see we've got two glue dots. If my light will catch the shininess, and it's probably not going to do it, but we've got two glue dots here on the back side. And here goes our bow. Okay, where did my bone folder go? There it is. I do like to smush it down really good with my bone folder. It's a little bit easier than using my finger to get the loops open. But if you get that glue dot smushed down really good, it's going to hold. Look at that. Isn't that perfect? Oh my gosh, you guys, that is so cute. Oh my goodness. Okay, I think it's cute. You might think it's not cute, but I think it's cute. Do you guys get off these videos and be like, that chick is crazy? It's okay if you do, by the way. It is okay. Okay. So cutting our tails off. Perfect! Okay, so now just a little teeny bit of bling bling. And we shall be done. I don't know how long this video has been, guys. Probably been a while. Hope y'all are still with me. Hope, hope, hope. Where are my little mini glue dots? Suze? Oh my gosh, you guys. I got issues going on today. Heavens. Okay. So, just grabbing some of the loose sequins. These, of course, are the very same sequins that we used for the inside of the shaker window. And I tell you, I love them. Love, love, love. This bright, shiny, listen here. Sequin, get off my tweezers. This bright, shiny gold is perfect. It matches the ribbon perfect. It matches our glitter paper perfect. I love it. So, even though they were not given to us for the intention of putting adhesive on the back, I'm a rebel like that. Y'all know this. And so just with your, you can use tweezers or use a piercing tool, whatever you wish, but you can add adhesive just with your roll of glue dots. So, and I do recommend if you guys are grabbing glue dots, if you want to use the sequins, if you want to use all the sizes of the sequins, some of those small sequins are very tiny. So instead of getting the small glue dots, you guys want to get the glue dots that are called micro, and they are in our catalog. You will find them there. So if you want the little teeny tiny ones, get the micro glue dots. I made the mistake and got the small ones, and then I got them and I thought, wow, those aren't very small. And I looked again and they were micro. So we need micro glue dots instead of small glue dots. So now, little tiny bit of color on our gems. So these are just the gold glitter gems. And what we're going to do is today the color we're using is the sap green. So we're using the sap green shin hand marker. And I have a glass of tea right next to me. And for whatever reason, my cup apparently has a hole in it because I have tea leaking all over my desk. So that's a good time. Okay, guys. So we are going to, I wanted some white paper behind it so you could see really how vivid this color is. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. So this sap green matches the fern color in the Grateful Heart paper perfectly. Okay, absolutely perfectly. So just a little teeny tiny bit. Doesn't take long, doesn't take a lot, but I tell you, these alcohol markers are worth their weight in gold. So it's another one of those, you guys have heard me say before, your tools. And when I say tools, again, I'm referring to those products that are not consumable. You know, things like your ink pads and your markers, your tweezers and your piercing toolkit and your bone folder, and things that you're not going to use up with every project. But your tools are things that really can make your process much more enjoyable, make it a little bit easier. They can really even make your consumable project, your consumable supplies stretch even further. Like, you know, instead of buying green gems, I'm going to buy neutral colored gems and buy my green marker that I'm going to have for years and years and years. By the way, these are the very same markers I've had since they introduced them in 2014. The very same set. I've never bought new ones. So they're going to last you forever. And I don't have to buy green gems. I will just buy neutral gems and buy a green marker, and I'll keep my marker forever, and I'll have me as many green gems as I want to have. So again, frugalness at its best. No apologies. But it's another thing that you guys might consider. I know that, absolutely know that not a one of us are like multi-millionaires. So we have to be mindful of the money that we're spending. And so you guys might even consider that when you place an order, maybe you'll grab a marker that matches the paper collection that you're working with. Maybe you'll add that, you know, $6.50 marker onto your order, and it's not going to increase your order a ton, but yet you're building your tool stash little by little over time without really breaking the bank, you know? So, that is just maybe a suggestion for you guys. So look at that, you guys. We are done. We're totally done. Oh my gosh, that is stinking cute. Oh my word, stinking cute. So 1 down, 7 more to go. If you guys want to see all of the cards, go back and watch the first of the video, front of the video, or you can hop over to the blog. It's the Just Crazy Bless. Let's move it back over here where you can see it. The justcrazybless.blogspot.com. It's the newest. It is the newest post that I put up there. It's up there just this morning. So if you guys want to get these files with all the cutting guides and all of that good stuff, hop over there to the blog, and you're able to do that. The supply listing is written there. Remember, any order is going to receive Happy Mail, okay? So the bigger the order, the more Happy Mail you're going to get. And Happy Mail are always free surprise goodies that you guys get shipped to your door to kind of brighten your day. And thank you for your business. So thanks for joining me today, guys. Assembly video number 1 is in the books. And join me another day for number 2. So I hope you guys are having a great Thursday, and I'll see you later.